In this video, we're going to be going over the Galaxy A54 5G's camera. Stay tuned. Alright everyone, hopefully you guys are having a good day. Hopefully everyone is safe out there. We have the Galaxy A54 5G right here, and we're going to be going over some sample photos and videos in this video, and we're going to be showing you what this camera can actually do. Alright guys, so going into the cameras on this device, so the rear facing cameras right here, this is going to be a triple camera setup. Our main camera is going to be a 50 megapixel wide camera. Our secondary is going to be a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and our third is going to be a 5 megapixel macro. Now with the rear facing cameras, we do have a few different modes we can choose from. So we have 4K at 30 frames per second, 1080p at 30 or 60 frames per second, and of course 720p. As for the front facing camera, we do have a hole punch front facing camera, and that is going to give us 32 megapixels, and we are going to be able to use that for our wide angle mode as well. So that's great to see. And we can either shoot at 4K at 30 frames per second or 1080p at either 30 or 60 frames per second. So those are the ratings of the Galaxy A54's rear and front facing cameras. Now let's go through all of the modes that we have inside of here. So obviously we have the regular photo mode, and we can change our aspect ratio right here from 3:4, 9:16, 1:1, or of course full. And of course zoom goes up to 10 times. So that's the highest we are going to go on our photo zoom right there. Now getting out of here, we have our portrait mode, of course, which basically blurs the background of your subject, and you can actually put this little scale up or down depending on how much of the effect that you want on it. So we're going to be checking that out in a little bit with a photo that we've took. And of course we have our fun mode right here. This is basically a bunch of different like emojis and different stuff like that. So if you put your face on here, it's going to interact with it, kind of like Snapchat or Instagram. And of course going to the video right here, for a rear facing camera, 1080p at 60, we have our full HD at 30 and 4K at 30 frames per second. Going into more, this is where a ton of the great stuff happens. So we have Bixby Vision, of course. We have our AR zone, which basically you can make your own little emoji. So obviously we have our AR Emoji Studio, AR Emoji Camera, AR Emoji Stickers, and AR Doodle. The great thing about this is it interacts with other applications. Of course, we have our Deco Pick as well, but this interacts with other applications. So if you make your own little AR emoji, and I'm sure a lot of you have done so if you guys are used to the Samsung ecosystem in the last couple of years, you can actually use your little cartoon character as an emoji in your text messages. So that's always cool to do. And of course we have some other modes. We have our pro mode, which is basically giving you more access to like the white balance, the ISO, and all of that technical stuff. This is for people that are photographers already, and they're kind of like artsy and they know how to use that type of stuff. We have our pro video, same thing more or less, but just with video. We have single take. We have our night mode, which basically makes a subject a little bit brighter if we take it in a darker setting. We have our food, we have panorama, we have macro, super slow-mo, slow motion, and hyperlapse. So those are all of the things that we have inside of this camera. Now I am going to be showing you some video. We did take 4K, 30 frames per second, 1080p, 60 frames per second. We have tons of video we're about to show you right now. But let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. I definitely think there was an improvement as far as the quality, especially on 1080p, 60 frames per second from the Galaxy A53 to the A54. So the A54, there is a difference for sure. I don't know if it's that great to just upgrade, and I don't think you should upgrade from the A53 to the A54 anyways. I think you should at least wait a couple of years before upgrading, and that goes for any phone, to be quite honest, unless you just have a terrible phone in general. But the photos on here are great as well. I definitely had a great time shooting with this camera. It is definitely a lot more punchier, and especially with things like, you'll see like the little Kirby character I took a photograph of, the textures and everything just shine more in here, so you can actually see some pretty deep detail, especially in things like textures like cotton and certain clothing and stuff like that. So I feel like the sensor is definitely a little bit better than the A53. The optimization, of course, is better, and the photos and videos are better. But obviously, let's go ahead and show you some of these. Alright everyone, so this is the front facing camera on the Galaxy A54. This is going to be 1080p at 30 frames per second. And this is how we're looking right here. We're kind of facing towards the sun, going out more towards the light. This is how this looks though. This is UHD or 4K 30 frames per second on the Galaxy A54. And the viewfinder, what I'm looking at, like at the screen right now, it looks actually really good. Can definitely see some improvements in stabilization, some tweaks in software and all that. And I'm noticing that in the pictures that I'm taking over here as well. So pretty excited about this device. And the A34 does not have 60 frames per second 1080p, but the A54 does. So I thought I'd just show it to you guys right here. But this is 1080p 60 frames per second on the Galaxy A54. This is looking great so far. Let me know what you guys think. Alright guys, so this is 4K 30 frames per second on the Galaxy A54. Going up to these leaves right here. It's really having a hard time with the autofocus on this camera. I don't know why. With things that are still, it does a decent job, as you guys will see right now. If you just say still, you get some amazing detail with this 4K. But when we go over to things that move a little bit more, it kind of has a harder time. There you go, it locked on right here. Autofocus isn't the best on here. That would be probably one of the cons between this and a flagship device. But of course, this is a $449 device, guys. This looks pretty good to me for that price tag. Now we have 1080p 60 frames per second on the Galaxy A54. Little bit of an easier time, right? Go ahead and zoom in for you guys right here. Zooming is actually way smoother than the A53 for sure on here. And last but not least, we have the Galaxy A54 at 1080p 30 frames per second. And this is how that looks. So these are the photos and videos that you guys can expect from the Galaxy A54 5G. I thought there was a pretty decent difference between this and the A53. If you guys want a comparison between the A53 and the A54, let me know in the comment section down below. But also, let me know what you guys think of the Galaxy A54's camera. I think Samsung did a pretty decent job considering that this is a $449 device. And I think we're just so spoiled in the phone arena right now that there's just so many options that this doesn't even look, you know, good to people anymore. But it is still a good phone. I still like this, and I feel like a lot of people are going to get this phone at a great deal when it goes on sale, and also when it goes up for sale at Metro by T-Mobile, Cricket Wireless, Boost Mobile, and all the other prepaid companies. Yeah guys, if you enjoyed this video, drop a like. Also hit that subscribe button and notification bell if you guys want to be notified every time I upload a new video. This has been Safon from TechRight. Peace out, Tech Gang.